Rain hammered the floor-to-ceiling windows of the Winchester Grand Hotel like bullets against glass. Nathaniel Winchester stood in his penthouse suite, adjusting his Italian silk tie. At 28, he'd just closed a billion-dollar merger, the youngest CEO in his family's history. You look like you're attending a funeral instead of your own victory party. Cassandra Vale appeared beside him, champagne catching the amber light. Her dress cost more than most cars. She wore it like a weapon. Success isn't about celebration, Nathaniel said, eyes fixed on his reflection. Sharp jaw, cold calculation. It's about the next conquest. 3 floors below, Rosa Moretti gripped her father's arm as they entered the ballroom. Crystal chandeliers threw diamonds of light across marble floors. Her simple black dress felt wrong here, like she was playing dress-up in someone else's life. "Papa, I don't belong here." Francesco Moretti's weathered hand covered hers. The hand that had built an empire. The hand that had signed darker contracts than she wanted to know about. "You belong wherever I say you belong, figlia mia. Tonight we secure our family's future." Rosa understood what that meant. Her father's construction empire had legitimate fronts, but the shadows held corpses. Tonight wasn't celebration. It was survival. When Nathaniel descended the marble staircase, the crowd parted. His eyes swept the room with practiced boredom until they landed on her. The nervous woman beside Francesco Moretti, dark hair pulled back severely, wire-rimmed glasses framing eyes that looked haunted. "Nathaniel Winchester," Francesco said, extending his hand. "Allow me to introduce my daughter, Rosa." Nathaniel barely glanced at her. "Moretti, I trust tonight's agreement will be mutually beneficial." Rosa felt the dismissal like a slap. She'd heard about Nathaniel Winchester. Golden Prince of New York's elite, the man who turned everything he touched into gold. What she hadn't expected was the Arctic cold in his blue eyes when he looked through her. "Perhaps you'd honor my daughter with a dance," Francesco suggested. It wasn't a suggestion. The orchestra began a slow waltz. Nathaniel extended his hand with visible reluctance. Rosa took it because refusing would embarrass her father in front of people who could destroy their family with a phone call. On the dance floor, her nervousness made her stumble. Nathaniel's irritation radiated off him in waves. "Relax. You're making this harder than it needs to be." "I told you I don't dance," Rosa replied, cheeks burning. Around them, couples glided effortlessly. Nathaniel caught sight of Cassandra laughing with his business partner. The picture of elegant perfection that made this feel like torture. When Rosa stepped on his foot for the second time, Nathaniel's patience shattered. "Maybe we should call it a night." The music ended. He stepped back immediately, putting an ocean of distance between them. That's when Cassandra appeared, smile sharp as a blade. "Oh my," she said loud enough for others to hear. That looked challenging, Nathaniel. "You're such a gentleman to take on such a difficult partner." Rosa felt the words slice deep, but she lifted her chin with quiet dignity. "You're absolutely right. Some people are naturally graceful, and others have to work much harder." "Thank you for the reminder." She turned to leave, but Francesco caught her arm. His grip was gentle. His eyes held a warning that made her blood freeze. "We're not done here, Figlia. The Winchesters and the Morettis have business to discuss. Business that concerns you directly." Rosa's stomach dropped. She knew that look in her father's eyes. She'd seen it before, right before someone disappeared. 3 days later, Rosa sat in her father's study. Mahogany bookcases surrounded her like prison walls. The scent of aged whiskey made her stomach turn. Morning sun streamed through heavy curtains, casting long shadows across contracts spread on Francesco's desk. "You can't be serious." "Papa!" Her voice cracked despite her efforts to stay composed. Francesco poured himself a drink. His movements were deliberate. Calm. The calm before executions. "The Winchester merger isn't just about business, Rosa. It's about survival. Our competitors in Chicago are moving against us. They've already taken out the Bernardis and the Russos." Rosa's hands trembled as she read the marriage contract. Her name was printed in elegant script next to Nathaniel. Winchesters. Like they were just another acquisition. There has to be another way. There is no other way. Francesco's voice carried the weight of finality. "The Winchesters get legitimacy through our European connections. We get protection under their legal empire. It's perfect. Perfect for everyone except me." Her father's expression softened for just a moment. The briefest crack in his armor. "You think I want this? You're my only child, my precious daughter. but sometimes we sacrifice what we want for what we need. Across the city, Nathaniel was having his own confrontation. Helena Winchester sat behind her glass desk like an ice queen on her throne, silver hair pulled back in a severe bun. The Moretti girl is plain, Mother. She's awkward, nervous, and completely wrong for someone in my position. Nathaniel paced in front of the floor-to-ceiling, windows overlooking Central Park. She's also the daughter of the most powerful man in the construction industry, Helena replied coldly. Francesco Moretti controls union contracts, city permits, and has connections that reach into every major development project on the East Coast. I won't marry someone I don't love for the sake of business. Helena's laugh was sharp as breaking glass. Love? You sound like a child, Nathaniel. Love is a luxury we can't afford. The Koreans are trying to break into our hotel markets. The Germans are undercutting our European properties. We need the Morettis. What about Cassandra? Cassandra Vale is beautiful and empty, Helena said. She's perfect for appearances, terrible for alliances. The Moretti girl brings power, real power. Nathaniel stared out at the city. His city, the empire he'd built himself. When? 6 weeks. The wedding will be at the Winchester estate. Intimate ceremony. We'll announce it as a love match to the press. The first meeting happened 2 weeks later, a sterile conference room in the Winchester Tower. Rosa sat across from Nathaniel, her father and Helena on either side like chess pieces positioned for checkmate. We should establish ground rules, Nathaniel said, his voice flat, professional, like they were negotiating a real estate deal. I won't pretend to love you, Rosa said quietly, but I'll play the part in public. I know what's at stake. Nathaniel looked at her properly for the first time since the ballroom. Really looked. Her eyes were darker than he'd noticed. Deeper, like she was drowning in something she couldn't name. You understand this is purely transactional? I understand my father's business requires your family's protection. I understand my opinions don't matter. Something flickered across Nathaniel's face, something almost like recognition. We'll maintain separate bedrooms, separate lives. You attend the necessary functions. Smile for the cameras. That's all I require. Fine. Fine. They stood, shook hands, the contract sealed with cold formality. As Rosa turned to leave, she paused at the door. For what it's worth, I didn't want this either. Nathaniel said nothing, but after she left, he stood at the window for a long time, watching the city lights flicker on as darkness fell. That night, Rosa returned to her apartment. The small studio in Brooklyn that was her only sanctuary. She poured herself wine and opened her laptop. The file was encrypted, password protected. Inside were bank transfers, shipping manifests, names of people who'd disappeared. Evidence of her father's real business, the business that would destroy him if it ever saw daylight. She'd been collecting it for 3 years. Insurance, an escape route. But now there was no escape. Only a golden cage with Nathaniel Winchester's name on it. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. The text was simple. I know what you're hiding. Tick-tock, little Moretti. Rosa's blood turned to ice. The Winchester estate sat on 20 acres of manicured perfection. Rosa stood in the bridal suite, staring at her reflection. White silk, delicate lace. She looked like a ghost. You're beautiful, Figlia. Francesco stood in the doorway, tears in his eyes. Real tears. For a moment, Rosa hated him less. Papa, I need to tell you something. Not today. Today you become a Winchester. Today, our family survives. The ceremony was quick, efficient. Nathaniel's vows were spoken like a business presentation. Rosa's voice barely carried past the front row. When they kissed, it was perfunctory. Cold. The flash of cameras felt like gunfire. At the reception, Cassandra cornered Rosa near the champagne fountain. Congratulations, she purred, her smile venomous. You've won quite the prize. I didn't win anything, Rosa said quietly. No, you didn't. Cassandra leaned closer. But don't get comfortable, sweetheart. Nathaniel and I have history, the kind that doesn't end with a piece of paper and a white dress. Before Rosa could respond, Nathaniel appeared. Cassandra, we need to talk. Privately. He walked away without looking at Rosa. She watched them disappear into the estate's garden, Cassandra's hand on his arm. Rosa found herself alone on the terrace an hour later. The party continued inside. Laughter, music, the sound of people pretending everything was perfect. "You look miserable." A man approached, mid-30s, sharp suit, dangerous smile. She recognized him from the guest list. Marcus Chen, one of Nathaniel's business rivals. "I'm fine." "You're a terrible liar." He handed her a glass of whiskey. "I know what it's like to be a pawn in someone else's game." "I'm not a pawn." "No?" Marcus's eyes glittered. "Then what are you?" Rosa had no answer. "Your husband is currently in the East Garden with his former lover. Your father is negotiating shipping routes with the Calabrese family, and you're here, alone, wearing a designer prison. So tell me, Rosa Moretti Winchester, what exactly are you?" "I'm surviving." "That's not living." He left her his card. Simple, elegant, just a phone number. "When you're ready to live instead of survive, call me." The first 3 months of marriage were arctic. Nathaniel came home late, left early. They occupied the same penthouse like strangers sharing an elevator. Polite, distant, empty. Rosa threw herself into charity work, the only thing Helena allowed. She visited shelters, organized fundraisers, smiled for society page photographs. The perfect Winchester wife. But at night, she still received texts. "I'm watching. Your secrets are expensive. How long until everyone knows?" She never responded. Never told anyone. Fear kept her silent. Then came the night everything changed. Rosa was working late in the penthouse library when she heard voices. Nathaniel and his business partner James in the study. "The Moretti connection isn't working," James said. "Francesco's under investigation. If the feds move against him, we're exposed. We need to distance ourselves." "It's too late for distance. You married his daughter. That can be fixed." Rosa's hand froze on the door handle. "What are you suggesting?" Nathaniel's voice was cold, calculating. "An accident. Nothing traceable. The girl disappears. You're the grieving widower. We cut ties with Francesco before the investigation reaches us." Silence. Rosa held her breath, waiting for Nathaniel to refuse, to defend her, to say anything that proved she was more than collateral damage. How long would we need? Her heart stopped. 3 weeks. Maybe 4. I have people who can make it look natural. Do it. Rosa didn't remember walking back to her room, didn't remember locking the door. She sat on the bed, hands shaking, reality shattering around her. Her husband was planning to kill her. She called the number Marcus had given her. "I need help. I'm listening. I have information. About Francesco Moretti. About the Winchesters. About everything. But I need protection. I need to disappear." What kind of information? The kind that could destroy both families. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. "Meet me tomorrow. Pier 17, midnight. Come alone." Rosa hung up. She spent the rest of the night downloading files, encrypting data, preparing her escape. But she made one mistake. She didn't notice Nathaniel standing in her doorway. Didn't see him watching her work. Didn't realize he'd heard every word of her phone call. When she finally looked up, he was there, his face unreadable. Going somewhere. "Wife?" Rosa's laptop screen cast blue shadows across her face. Nathaniel stood in the doorway like a judge delivering a sentence. "How long have you been standing there?" "Long enough." He stepped into the room, closed the door. "Marcus Chen. Interesting choice. You were going to kill me." The words hung in the air like smoke after a gunshot. Nathaniel's expression didn't change. "You were eavesdropping." "I heard James. I heard you agree to make me disappear." "And you believed him?" Rosa stood, laptop clutched to her chest. "You said do it. I heard you." You heard what you expected to hear. Nathaniel moved closer. Not threatening. Something else. Something rawer. I said do it about the security detail. About protecting you from whoever's been sending you threatening texts for the past 3 months. Rosa's mind reeled. What? You. Think I don't notice you flinching every time your phone buzzes? You think I don't see you checking over your shoulder? I've had people tracking the texts. They're coming from inside your father's organization. That's impossible. Is it? Nathaniel's voice was quiet. Dangerous. Someone in the Moretti family wants you gone, Rosa. Someone who benefits from you being out of the picture. Why would you protect me? You don't even like me. No, I don't. He paused. But I don't kill innocent people. And whatever you are, you're not guilty of anything except having a monster for a father. Rosa felt tears burning behind her eyes. You dismissed me, ignored me, treated me like I was nothing. Because that's what keeps people alive in this world. Nathaniel's mask finally cracked. The moment anyone realizes you matter, you become a target. I learned that when I was 12 and someone tried to kidnap my sister. She died because our father loved her too much. Too publicly. The confession hit like a physical blow. I didn't know you had a sister. No one does. We erased her from the records, from the photographs, like she never existed. His voice was hollow. It's easier that way. Safer. Rosa understood then. The coldness. The distance. It was armor. The files on your laptop, Nathaniel said. They're about your father's operations. It wasn't a question. I've been collecting evidence for 3 years. I was going to disappear. Start over somewhere he couldn't find me. And now? Now I don't know what's real anymore. Nathaniel moved to the window. City lights sprawled below like a circuit board. Marcus Chen isn't your savior, Rosa. He's the one who's been blackmailing you. The room tilted. No, that's not possible. He's been trying to access your father's business for years. When he couldn't break Francesco, he decided to break you. Nathaniel turned to face her. The texts, the pressure. He was betting you'd crack and run to him. Give him everything he needed to destroy both families. Rosa's legs gave out. She sank onto the bed. How do you know this? Because I've been having him followed since the wedding. I knew he approached you at the reception. I knew he gave you his number. I've been waiting to see what you'd do. You've been testing me. Yes. The honesty was brutal. Did I pass? I don't know yet. Nathaniel sat beside her, not touching, but closer than they'd ever been. Are you going to meet him tomorrow? Rosa looked at the laptop, at the files that could destroy everything. What happens if I don't? We find out who in your father's organization wants you dead. We expose Marcus. We survive. And if I do? You become a traitor, to your father, to me, and Marcus kills you the moment you're no longer useful. Rosa's hands trembled. Why should I trust you? You've done nothing but make me feel worthless since the moment we met. You're right. Nathaniel's voice was raw, unguarded. I've been cruel, dismissive. I've treated you like an inconvenience. But I won't let you die. Not on my watch. Why? He looked at her then. Really looked. Like he was seeing her for the first time. Because you remind me of her. My sister. She was quiet, observant. People underestimated her because she didn't demand attention. And they killed her for it. Tears slipped down Rosa's cheeks. I'm not your sister. No, you're my wife. And despite everything, despite this twisted arrangement, that means something. Rosa's phone buzzed. Text from Marcus. Tomorrow night. Don't be late. This is your only chance. She showed Nathaniel the message. What do we do? We set a trap. Nathaniel's eyes hardened. We give him exactly what he wants, and then we destroy him. How? You go to the meeting, wear a wire, give him fake files, and when he reveals himself, we have him arrested. He'll know. He's too smart. Then we need to make it convincing. Nathaniel stood, extended his hand. We need to make him believe you hate me, that you want to burn everything down. Rosa took his hand. Let him pull her up. That won't be hard to fake. Won't it? Their faces were inches apart, the air between them charged. Electric. I don't know anymore, Rosa whispered. Nathaniel's thumb brushed her cheek, wiped away a tear. Neither do I. The moment shattered when his phone rang. He answered, expression darkening with each second. When? How bad? He hung up, looked at Rosa with something like fear. It's your father. Someone shot him outside his office. He's in surgery. Rosa's world spun. Is he going to survive? They don't know. Nathaniel grabbed his jacket. We need to go. Now. Wait. Rosa caught his arm. If Papa dies, the files I have become evidence. They could send dozens of people to prison, including my mother's brother. My cousins. What are you saying? I'm saying I need to decide right now. Do I destroy my family to save myself? Or do I protect them and risk everything? Nathaniel looked at her, really saw her. The woman forced into impossible choices. The daughter caught between loyalty and survival. What do you want to do? I don't know. Her voice broke. Tell me what to do. I can't make this choice for you. Please. Nathaniel pulled her close, the first real embrace they'd shared. She felt his heart hammering against hers. If you destroy those files, Marcus wins. Your father's enemies win, and whoever tried to kill Francesco will try again. This time they'll come for you. And if I don't destroy them, your family burns. All of them. Rosa pulled back, looked into his eyes. What would you do? I'd save myself. Every time. Without question. Why? Because the dead can't protect anyone, and you can't save people who don't want to be saved. Rosa made her choice. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and desperation. Francesco Moretti lay unconscious in the ICU, machines breathing for him. Rosa stood at his bedside, Nathaniel behind her like a shadow. He looks so small, she whispered. He's still dangerous. Even like this. He's my father. Nathaniel's hand found hers, squeezed once, a gesture so simple it broke something open inside her chest. Her mother appeared in the doorway. Sophia Moretti, eyes red from crying. She looked at Rosa with something between love and accusation. You brought this on us. Mama, I didn't do anything. You married him. Sophia pointed at Nathaniel with venom. You brought Winchester blood into our family. Now look what's happened. Mrs. Moretti, Nathaniel said calmly. Your husband was shot by Giovanni Russo, one of his own lieutenants. This has nothing to do with our marriage. How do you know that? Because Giovanni is in custody, and he's talking. The betrayal hit Rosa like a freight train. Giovanni. Her father's oldest friend, the man who taught her to ride a bike, who called her Piccolina. Why? He was working with Marcus Chen. They were planning to take over Francesco's operations, use his hospitalization to seize control. Nathaniel pulled out his phone, showed her security footage, Giovanni meeting Marcus, exchanging briefcases. They needed Francesco out of the way, and they needed you vulnerable. Rosa felt sick. The texts, the threats. Al Giovanni? Yes. So what happens now? Now you make your choice. Rosa looked at her father. The man who'd raised her, loved her, destroyed her. The man whose empire was built on bodies and blood money. She pulled the encrypted flash drive from her pocket. All the evidence, years of crimes, proof that could send her father to prison for life. I'm going to the FBI, Sophia gasped. You'll kill him. The stress alone will stop his heart. He's already killing himself, Mama. He's been doing it for years, and he was going to let it kill me too. You ungrateful girl. After everything he's done for you, he sold me." Rosa's voice was steel. "He traded me like property to save his business. That's not love, Mama. That's transaction." She turned to Nathaniel. "I need you to promise me something." "What?" "My cousins. The ones who aren't involved. My Aunt Maria's kids. They're innocent. Promise me you'll protect them." "Rosa, you can't save everyone. Promise me." Nathaniel looked at her. At the woman who'd emerged from the frightened girl at the ballroom. Strong. Certain. Terrifying in her conviction. "I promise." They left the hospital, drove to the FBI field office in silence. Rosa clutched the flash drive like a talisman. "You don't have to do this," Nathaniel said quietly. "Yes, I do." "Why?" "Because I'm tired of being afraid. I'm tired of living in the shadows of other people's sins. I want to be free, even if freedom costs me everything." At the FBI office, Special Agent Morrison took the flash drive, listened to Rosa's testimony, watched her sign statement after statement. "This is extremely brave, Mrs. Winchester." "It's not brave. It's necessary. Your family will never forgive you." "I know." When they finally left, dawn was breaking over the city, pink and gold light painting the skyscrapers. Rosa felt hollowed out, empty, reborn. "What happens now?" she asked. "Now you live with the consequences. Will you stay? When my family comes for me? When the Morettis declare war?" Nathaniel stopped walking, turned to face her. His expression was unreadable. "I told you I married you for business, for alliances, for everything except love." "I know. I lied." Rosa's breath caught. "What?" "Not at first. At first I hated you, resented you, saw you as an obligation." Nathaniel stepped closer. "But somewhere between your stubborn dignity and your quiet strength, I stopped pretending. I stopped lying to myself." "You don't mean that." "I watched you survive 3 months of isolation, watched you endure my cruelty, watched you choose integrity over safety. You're the bravest person I've ever met, Rosa, and I don't deserve you, but I'll spend the rest of my life trying to." Tears streamed down her face. "You're an idiot. I know. You've been horrible to me. I know. I should hate you. You should. But I don't." She grabbed his jacket, pulled him close. "I don't hate you at all." They kissed in the breaking dawn. Not perfect, not romantic, raw and desperate and real. A collision of broken people finding something whole in the wreckage. When they pulled apart, Nathaniel's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen, smiled grimly. Marcus Chen just got arrested. They found evidence linking him to Giovanni, to the shooting, to everything. Good. Francesco is awake. He's asking for you. Rosa's stomach twisted. "I can't go back there." "You don't have to. You never have to go back." "What about your mother? Your family? They'll be furious that I destroyed the Moretti alliance." "Let them be furious." Nathaniel took her hand. "I'm done sacrificing people I love for business. Starting now. You love me?" "I'm starting to think I do." "Terrifying, isn't it?" Rosa laughed. The sound surprised her. Light. Free. Absolutely terrifying. They walked into the sunrise together. Behind them, empires crumbled. Families fractured. The old world burned. But ahead, something new was building. Something that belonged to them alone. 3 months later, Rosa stood in a small art gallery in Brooklyn. Her photographs lined the walls, black and white images of the city's forgotten corners, beauty in decay, light in darkness. Nathaniel stood beside her, hand in hers, no longer cold, no longer distant, just human, flawed, present. "You're talented," he said. "You're biased." "Probably." "Francesco survived, went to trial," Rosa testified. Her mother stopped speaking to her. Most of her family did. But her cousins, the innocent ones, sent her flowers. Small rebellions. Quiet thank yous. Cassandra got arrested too. Turned out she was embezzling from the Winchester Foundation. Helena resigned in disgrace. The empire restructured. Smaller. Cleaner. Legal. Rosa and Nathaniel bought a brownstone in Park Slope. Away from Manhattan's glittering towers. Away from the ghosts. On their first anniversary, Nathaniel found Rosa on the roof. She'd created a garden there. Wildflowers and vegetables. Life from concrete? I never thanked you, he said. For what? For being brave when I was a coward. For choosing truth when I would have chosen survival. For being exactly who you are. Rosa smiled. Turned to face him. The wire-rimmed glass is still there. The quiet strength. But now, something else. Peace. We saved each other. Did we? Yes. You taught me I was worth more than my father's transactions. I taught you that love isn't weakness. Pretty good trade. The best. They kissed as the sun set over Brooklyn. No cameras, no witnesses, no performance. Just two people who'd survived the worst and found each other in the aftermath. The city sprawled below them. Infinite, unforgiving, beautiful. And they were finally free. The end.